In few cases, it's to volunteer to correct a karma, because nobody understood at one time that wherever is karma, there's dharma, but it's not the only way to re-erection or re-inter-erection or reinstitution. It simply means that karma means to get to, on the physical plane, to undo or to redo or to understand something you did wrong. But they also taught dharma. And dharma means that once you mentally, spiritually understand it, there's no need to go through it but one more time. You can't escape the physical reality, if you want to call physicality a reality. It means that you must still come again to see what you said you were going to do when your soul was free, if you can do it encased in the body and correct those wrongs. So that is pretty much what is called reincarnation, to redo it again till you get it straight, or in this case, reincarnation is going to stop because our planet is going from the third to the fifth dimension. So this is really much the last cycle to get it right. This is why people feel that desperation and feel that time is speeding up, and it is. Days are flying by, because as we get there, you're going to hear people say things. I told this to people last year, and they already said, "Man, how did you know this?" I never thought I'd hear somebody say this. You're seeing things being said. You know, you got this David Letterman, and you've got, I mean, people are going to say things they don't even realize they're going to say themselves, because the time for truth is here. You tell a lie and you lie to yourself, you go down in vibrations, you get diseased, and you cannot stay with the planet. So if you lie and you lie to yourself, you lie to the planet, your vibrations are low. When it's trying to speed up, you will get diseased, you will die. It doesn't mean you will cease to exist. It means you will not be able to keep the fleshly body. The fleshly body exists in light, in truth, in harmony, and in spirit.
Okay, wow. All right. Brother Red Pill, you still there?
Yeah, I'm definitely here.
Okay. You got some questions for Dr. Blaire you want to ask?
Do you have any call? By the way, you got any listeners or any bloggers?
Yeah, definitely. We got the chat rooms full right now. Got a lot of people in the chat room seeing right now. We got some callers on the line. We're gonna get to them in the second half of the show.
Okay.
So you'll be able to talk to the people from around the country.
Okay. Yeah, by the way, too, there are some people that contact me, Sister Alicia Murphy. I don't know if she's out there. Still waiting to hear back from you again, Sister. Don't know what happened. She was attempting to bring me one of the schools, which I was trying to get to before All Hallowed Mass, which is a heck of a time this year. I was trying to get that in to have the people do some certain, well, anyway, to get past all of that. And, of course, many of the brothers out there, Brother Rich, of course, you be Brother Rashid, Brother Bowens, all of them again. And I know they have been in contact with me, but things seem to be going kind of slow there in New York. I really wish I could have made this fair. I understand, too, that they're having a fair there, too, with the sisters, the Circle of Sisters, but I didn't get invited to that one, but one of my friends did. But I don't see I can make that. But I'm simply saying, again, the products that I have are good. They are needed. They're needed by anybody who really wants to raise vibrations. And let me say one other thing, and then I'll shut my mouth. Please avoid those shots. If you haven't made a decision by understanding any of the tapes that are out there, and there's 5 different tapes, including some by Dr. Deagle and myself and everybody else, if you take those shots, your first shot puts a chip into you. Okay? The second shot has an adjuvant, which helps to then use a little bit to go a long way. We only had 57,000 brought into the state of Illinois, and I think like 30-something went to Chicago alone. They don't have enough to go around, and you ought to be happy that they don't, because it will only harm you. And if you have melanin and you're really going to take that now, it's going to take the rest of your fight for this month or so, or the rest of this year, just to get rid of it again. It is nothing that can help you, and the way I understand it again, the last batch is a combination of what they would call, to make the so-called swine flu, is Ebola and anthrax. Anthrax wiped out animals in Europe and the United States. Ebola hit in 1898, hit again in 1908, and the only people in Africa that survived it were the Zulus. So that's another thing. We're doing a lot of research on products that can stop that from happening, but the biggest thing you do is avoid the shot. If you know, there are even states now that are talking about seceding from this daggone union simply because of this mandate that they're trying to get across that everybody must take the shot. It makes, again, these daggone, I don't even like to talk, they don't like to give their name, these daggone chemical companies rich, but it makes the poor people suffer simply because now they're chemically dependent. And again, if you have melanin, you cannot be chemically dependent, survive, or go forth in higher consciousness.
All right.
Would it be, Dr. Delbert, would it be safe to say that they're dealing with a form of biowarfare or genetic biowarfare?
Well, yeah. warfare. War is never fair. There's no such thing as a good war. But at the same time, if you have to fight a war, then one way of doing it, it means a war means that there are two battles, two people, or two consciousness, or two diametrically opposed oppositions that are fighting each other. Well, again, what's happening now is spirituality versus evil and physicality. It's nano versus bio. It's everything good versus everything bad, and we're becoming more and more polarized each day. That, of course, can only lead to a planet in dissolution, a planet that will fight back, and so we can see why things are getting rougher and rougher. We've already got Armageddon and Magon and Day over there in what they call now the Middle East. So I simply say this. Anybody that's listening to this show that watches and knows you, Brother Rich, and for most of the people there that have consciousness knows that things are speeding up like mad here. Already we've had tsunamis, we've had earthquakes, we've had tornadoes, we've had typhoons, we've had droughts, we've had hurricanes. I mean, we've got everything going. Something is wrong. And the thing that is wrong is that the planet is trying to get right, and he's evil. You know what? Dracons are trying their best to make the last of these souls that should awake go back to sleep and control this planet and stop it from going. I'm going to state this, too, because I might forget this later. The reason why this planet is going through so many changes is that she is awakened. She is a female incarnation. She's gone through a lot. And the universal prime creator, call whatever you wish to be first cause, I do believe in first cause, has granted her the right to get off these laggards, these dumbed down, comatose, brainwashed, inoculated, vaccinated fools that are now bringing her down and giving her the right to get rid of them. So as they now have weather modification and are doing things to help each other to be ruling over the bulk of us, which are the majority on this planet, whereas the least of them, who are what they call these androidic, I don't even know what to call them again, these dracons is all I can call them, and they're trying their best to stay on the planet. If the planet, by the way, they exist on the fourth dimension. It's like somebody in high school messing with somebody in kindergarten. They shouldn't even be messing with us, but they do. And now the souls that are being born, these crystals are not going to allow that. So now that they're about to lose hold of what used to be their own little zoo, and more than that, if we're allowed to go to the fifth dimension in consciousness and on this planet, we'll be stronger than they were. And then they're fearful that we'll do to them what they did to us. And that means that they're going to battle like mad. This is a time where everything's going to come out of the hat. Everything that's hidden will be revealed, and people will have to face that consciousness. Like it or not, it is past anybody here's ability to stop it. You can join it, and you can join with it. But you're going to see things, if you're fighting it, that's going to make you blow your mind. You're not going to hear and see the things that you think you should. But it's happening all around you. You can see it happening all around it. I'm merely giving a reason why I think it is happening and how it's happening.
Wow. Brother Dr. Delbert, I have a question involving the Large Hadron Collider. And I've noticed that ever since the Red Button Day, when they activated it, that things have changed considerably. They were already weird. Things were already going to the left. But ever since the red button, I'm starting to see a lot of things, especially with the digital world. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, both the Brookhaven and the CERN collider, super collider, they're nothing but particle accelerators. But they have taken that a step past. They lied to you already. They turned that daggone thing almost this time last year, last November, and they tested it. And the daggone thing flew out the tetrahedron. It went through those coils, those miles of coils, went out and slammed into the earth, scared them to death. They always get scared after they do something like a mad scientist would do that has no creative spirit and consciousness. Then they're going to try and correct it. So, again, what they did was to cut it down for a while and try to rebuild it. Well, the Brookhaven is already working, but it's not as big as the one in Switzerland. It's not as fast as the one in Switzerland. And the whole point is, again, the only reason they're doing that, they say they're trying to see if they can annihilate matter and bring in a new type of a matter. Well, you can do that with consciousness, not with subconsciousness. You do that with rising vibrations, not hindering vibrations. You don't make particles collide. You make particles meld. And when they meld, the field increases. We're increasing our melding rate now. We're becoming high in consciousness if you allow. These kind of conversations that I'm holding now, and most people couldn't even contain them. They wanted to get, and they're still, by the way, too. That's another thing we can get into this stuff with Jay-Z and all, and Beyonce and Sasha Fierce. I mean, all these things are meant to hold you back at a time when you're supposed to be going forward. And why are they messing with melanin people? Because you have the biggest potentials to become the angels in future, and they're trying to make you the devils in the past. So as I say again, the fight is on. CERN is only a step toward what they